if your younger sibling or family members keep on fooling you or take you for granted, and you are an emotional fool thinking that they are my family and keep on having a blind eye to it, how to handle this?
So if your younger siblings or family members keep on fooling you or take you for granted, and you are an emotional fool thinking they are my family and keeping on having a blind eye to it, how to handle this? So first and foremost, one should know that one should not allow emotions to overwhelm the thought. Just because one is loving does not mean that one is an emotional fool. For some reason, for some attachment, whatever one has, one is not able to see that clearly. Remove that attachment. And ensure that what is that insecurity that is really making me feel that that person is taking me for granted. Either I have some insecurity or I have some attachment where even if that person is taking me for granted, I am not able to see and I am still continuing to associate. Some dependency in psychology, what they call it? Masochist. Masochist, no? That person is. The person is getting exploited, but the person is still continuing in that relationship. Sometimes one derives a sense of self-pity out of that also. So what should one do at such times? If you feel taken for granted, you communicate, explain, say that this is not all right, this is hurting me, I don't approve of this. From the time you come to know, be assertive, but be politely assertive. There's nothing wrong in that. On certain issues, when you feel taken for granted, on those issues you can explain and say, okay, this is not appropriate, I don't approve of this. On other issues, be normal with them. On this issue, be very firm and be very assertive, and that type of a behavior one has to stop. And stick to the duties in that case. Don't go extra. Don't show extra love or sympathy or anything else. Whatever is the basic duty I need to do, that much I keep doing. Not to become bitter from inside. That is my responsibility, because otherwise I will attract negative karma for myself. Somebody is taking me for granted. Why should I be bitter towards them? I can make myself smart, I can make myself alert, and I can communicate, and I can stop, and I can distance. And worst come worst, what can I do? I can cut out the relationship. If integrity and dharma are getting compromised in the relationship, there is nothing wrong in even cutting the relationship if required. You see, Ramayana and Mahabharata, they give you the same teaching. How much the Pandavas were tortured by the Kauravas. As long as the individuals were concerned, they were ready to adjust, put up with it, doesn't matter, forgive them. But when it came to the collective duty and dharma, then they had to fight it out. So what does Bhagavan say? You fight with them, but don't have any dvesha or raga for them. Tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasi. If you fight because it's your duty, there's nothing wrong in that. That's the last thing, because dharma itself is compromised there. But till then, one can talk, communicate, maintain distance, be assertive, all that one has to do. In no way it is said that if you are a loving person, let people take advantage of you. No. All our gods have weapons for what? Because active resistance to evil, that's the creed of Hindu culture. It is not saying that become so naive and gullible that people can take you for granted. Not at all. One very nice line I read somewhere, and I'll conclude with that. And that line is, the exploiter and the exploited both are responsible for exploitation. Generally, the exploiter is blamed always. But the exploited is equally responsible for the exploitation, because why did the exploited allow that exploitation to happen? Why was there no resistance to it? One great sadhu said that, he said, in India, the number of British who were ruling us was hardly 1 lakh or 2 lakh British people. He said, if all the women even take a broomstick and learn to charge at them, they'll have to leave this country. Forget anything else. But what did we do? We are weak. We are slaves. we can't do anything, we are helpless. So then we allow them to exploit. Same thing we are doing even today, no? Only our exploiter has changed, that's all. Some minority, somebody sitting over us and going on exploiting. And our own people also exploiting us. Because they themselves don't know the glory of their culture. Our own people wanting to move away from our own culture and form all small groups to get more and more benefits. So it's just that much has changed. So we have to be more assertive in those aspects.